Yo, 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 welcome to another edition of the Geeky Bros podcast. I'm your boy Tactix.
Yo, it's just Darcy here reporting in from Pangea. Let's go.
And this is Big Geeky. How y'all doing tonight?
Bring us some other shit dope. Sorry, inside joke.
Well, not inside for anyone who's watched Pillow Talking, the music video.
Which I haven't, so therefore it is an inside joke.
I'm sorry, we were referencing it just before the show, and it's too good. We just laughing too hard.
I look forward to checking it out, so I will be able to join you next week.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll circle back. A topic next week will be Umar's reaction to Pillow Talking.
I'm actually down for that.
Let's do it. I love it. All right.
All right, Umar, what's on the agenda for today?
All right, so we are jumping in right from the get-go to discussing Superman and Lois episode 11. Now, as you all know, we were waiting for a certain individual of our podcast to catch up so that we could finally talk about this. And good news is, hopefully,
Putting me under the bus. Gosh damn. Okay. All right, that's what we're doing today? Cool. Proceed.
So episode 11 is out. It's been out for a couple weeks now, and I swear that's the last time. You know what? I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start this time. I fucking love this episode. Like, this was back to form for me. Like, the previous two episodes, I was like, CW came in like scorching in, has taken over the series, and I'm really disappointed. And then this episode came out, and I was like, thank you. You're still alive, Superman. Like, you're still alive. I loved it. I even have to say, in my opinion, it even fixed a lot of the issues I had with Morgan Edge and the whole like evil Kryptonian storyline to like actually make me feel something towards him. It was fantastic to watch Tyler just be Clark Kent and Superman. It was nice to see Lois and Superman and Lois and Clark having two very different relationships, and like a twist where Lois actually fell in love with Clark first and kind of wasn't a big fan of Superman. And I was like, thank you. I didn't know I needed that until right now. And yeah, so I'm gonna stop right there before we can get more into it as you guys go along. But like, I'm gonna say it was really nice that this episode went back to form. And yeah, so Darcy, how about you take it from there?
Yo, first off, I love the fact that Morgan Edge is like, he comes off as this badass, and then you see all of his backstory, and he's just like he's a bully. He's just like he's a child who's like not like, he's put down, and like in the presence of his father, he just like, he's pathetic. He just is so pathetic. In comparison, like I love how like Superman is put in a position where he has to make a hard choice, and the only hard choice he can make, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it, the 5 of you, that, at the end he's got to make a choice, and he's basically going to go under the control of like Morgan Edge and basically become what the future prediction version of him would become. And the alternate version of him. Yes, correct. And so in that moment, it's like he's never like really losing strength in his character, but he's having to make a choice that's like dead, like guts him, right? Whereas like the Morgan Edge in the same moment looks pathetic. Like, did I make you happy? Kind of like pathetic in comparison. And even though he looked like a Zod, he is not a Zod. Like, it really showed you how wildly different he is. I also loved the whole fact that the good 2/3 of this episode's a dream state, and that reminded me of Justice League Unlimited and being in Superman when he had he's still on Krypton and lived out his life, and then having to come out of that. Not as gutting and gut-wrenching as that story was, but it was like a really close second to it, and I really enjoyed it. Overall, yeah, this was a far better episode, especially like you said, everything about like Lois and Clark, just like their dynamic, and that they're falling in love, and the whole like news reporter like doing the interview scene. I love the dynamic, and I love how she's like, nah, he's straight up bullshitting me. And then the girl is like, nah, he's like looking at you like he likes you, blah blah blah. Oh yeah, by the way, is one of his powers super hearing? And he just like looks over and like, he's like, I'm gonna go die now. See you later. Yeah, this is a good episode, and I loved it. Just it started so wildly different than the other CW stuff that it was like, okay, either that CW stuff was budget related or whatever, but they were like, because it kind of felt like somebody else had their hand in that, and then the immediate response to that was like, let's take this back. Let's show you the origin of the suit and all that kind of stuff, like the first suit. And it's like, yeah, this was just a much better episode, and gives me hope that the remainder of the season is going in the right direction. So, Tactix, let me throw it over to you.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I love this episode. I'm loving this show as a whole. I piggybacking off what Umar said, this gave me everything that I didn't think that I needed until I watched it, and I was like, damn, I'm the first half of the episode, there wasn't a whole lot of action that was going on. It was just showcasing the development of Lois and Clark and their whole relationship and their dynamic and everything. And although they gave us snippets here and there, it didn't seem rushed. It felt very fleshed out to me, and I really appreciated what they did. I love the fact that they made the change of like what you were saying, Umar, about how she fell in love with Clark first and not Superman, and that was just a kind of a refreshing take on the mythos that we're commonly used to, and so I really love that. It seems like they're giving a lot more for Lois to do, which I like. She's getting more involved in the storyline, which is great, and I forgive the whole Morgan Edge brother thing, because I kind of like him as a villain. He's he doesn't come off cheesy. He comes off with a strong purpose, and I believe in his he has such conviction in terms of what he's trying to do, and he doesn't come off as one of those corny Flash type villains or some shit, right? Where it's a one-off kind of thing, right? So yeah, I really love I love the episode. I love where they're taking it with Superman having to yield essentially and submit to Morgan Edge, and now it seems like shit's about to get real. Unfortunately, we gotta wait till mid-July to see how that all unfolds. But yeah, man, I loved this episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it, more than I thought I would, because again, like I said, I'll continue to repeat it. I'm an action buff. I like seeing action shit, especially when it comes to a Superman show. But I didn't need it to be layered in the action. What they gave me was just right. It was good, and I love the show. It's one of my top 5 favorite shows on right now. I love it.
Honestly, Darcy, just picking off on what you said, this, I was kind of indifferent to borderline annoyed with this whole Morgan Edge storyline, and we've even talked about it before. We would have almost preferred a Zod character as opposed to a brother that came out of nowhere. But having this episode literally fixed all my issues for the last couple of episodes about him, because like you said, he's a bullied kid who grew up with the idea in his head that he's going to be the one to replace Krypton, and his brother is going to be by his side. And it was I actually found more so than his arguments in the first of all, the fact that he has a fortress in the desert is straight up cool.
Yeah,
didn't know I needed that. That was fucking awesome. I was just ooh, yes. Secondly, okay, I'm deviating from my point again, but I just need to say it. Watching Clark learn his powers in the Arctic, this is not meant to be a jab at Man of Steel. This is what I thought Man of Steel was going to do. And this is what made me excited to see Man of Steel. And I kind of wish that I don't think Zack Snyder could have done that wrong if he actually decided to do that scene. I actually found his running sequence and then aging as he's running, and also
the editing on that was beautifully done, man.
Seamless. And this is a TV show, and it's as good as like the graphics we're seeing in like Man of Steel. That's why I kind of, as weird as this is to say, if someone had given this script to Zack Snyder, I think he could have actually pulled it off.
Mean statement. I want to throw something out on that, which is like, one, I think that the seamless like cutting and graphics in that part, you have to give some credit to the Zack Snyder film as a whole, less Zack Snyder specifically in like the visual effects department, because a lot of that learning probably came from that movie, and they're utilizing it and enhancing like they're utilizing, because like, given it's a TV budget, they're like, how are we going to do this? Well, we have a pure example, so let's mimic that and then just do what we need to do story-wise. But I like what you're saying, though. Like, I feel like if somebody had taken the story beats from this and given that the direction with Zack Snyder's visual, oh my gosh, Man of Steel definitely could have been put on a different level. Like, I like Man of Steel, but I won't disagree that, like, yeah, if you can improve it, like, I would take it. Like, you know, it wasn't a 10 out of 10 for me. So, yeah, I would definitely take a 2-point increase on that movie for sure. And it's in the story.
To be honest, I kind of wish that someone had given the script for this entire season to, like, Zack Snyder to condense it to one film. But, like, going back to, I think it was Tactix, you said it, this episode had a lot of time jumps. But because, but because of our understanding of Man of Steel or the comic book lore, nothing was rushed. We were able to understand, and everything felt well paced, like very well paced. I like halfway through the episode when when he takes off his the thing, when he wakes up and he takes off that thing off his head and he's like in the Fortress of Solitude with Morgan Edge, I thought that was going to be the end of the episode. And then it's like, no, we still have another third of the episode to go. And I was like, wait, that was all 2/3 of an episode? That's impressive. Also, going back to what you were saying, Tactix, the action in this episode, like minus the thing with that, I'm glad they did a super racist, like Nazi. It was nice and refreshing that they're showing minorities to be the victims of, you know, white supremacy. Thank you for that. That was nicely appreciated. My only gripe, and these are very, very small gripes that I almost don't want to bring up, but because I'm the guy who always brings up gripes, I might as well do it. We don't need to put padding underneath like Tyler's costume. And it was very, very clear with the old school costume that he was wearing that he had like pads on. And I was just like, Also, I feel using heat vision on a grenade is not the best idea.
Yeah. Combustion. Heat.
Yeah, I was like, I feel you could have done a better job, but whatever. Again, those are the only gripes I have with the episode. Everything else was brilliant. And the Morgan Edge scene that made me really connect with him was when he was in Kal-El's fortress and he's yelling at Jor-El saying, I will not debate morality with a whisper. And he's beating Superman while he's like, Superman's really weak, but he's still giving a fight. And he's beating Superman and he's like, all I really wanted was a brother. And you rejected me. And punches him the way a bully would, exactly like you said. And I was like, yo, I get this character now. I get what he's doing. I get why he's doing it. And I see him as pathetic, but I also feel bad for him. Because, his upbringing sucked.
True. One thing I will go back to the Nazi scene that I really liked was they did a great job with Lois. Right, like after Superman, like, you know, thinks everything is cleared, and he's new too, right? So he missed a step. He missed 2 steps because heat vision. But but then after he thinks it's good, she comes out and like and does the you know the what's that thing called?
Taser. Taser.
Taser. Oh, they said laser. I'm like, no, not laser. She carrying around laser in her purse. Yeah, she like tases the dude, and you're like, what? Like, it's showing the badass of her character. You know, it shows badass of how she stood up to him in the very beginning when the torch was coming. Not that she was fully aware that the torch was coming, but like when everybody else was running, she stood straight up, right? She stood up like a hero. She just didn't have the ability to actually execute on what she was planning to do. So I was really impressed with them showing her in that light and how that would also impress him too.
Yeah, I also I loved Tyler just he exudes Clark and exudes Superman. He did a wonderful job. It was lovely to see more of his like Clark Kent nervous style, like we got in the first episode, and like see that scene being extended onwards. And also, like I think Tactix, you were bringing up about the fact that we finally get to see the reporter aspect for both of them, and like we don't see that a lot. It's more kind of like, oh, something in the background, but it's like, no, these two work together and like being partners in the sense that they're partners. Like she's being his mentor.
Yeah.
And that was really nice to see.
There was a great part in there when she was reporting on something, like he was like saying something like, oh, why isn't there more of whatever Superman or something to that degree? And there's a little bit of hubris in there, and there's a little bit of like naivete in there as well. And then she's like, yeah, what about all this? And then he immediately was like, oh, like this other portion of things not being reported on. And then you got to see actual good reporting versus the CW level reporting we've had in the other episodes that she does, right? You know, it might as well just been a One Tree Hill report, you know? And
from The Flash.
yeah, either way. I'm going One Tree Hill because it's small towny, you know? But yeah, like, and then this actual stuff felt like, okay, like they're actually putting something together. Her intelligence and whatnot feels almost like a weak Bruce Wayne, you know what I mean? Like it's just like it's, you know, or up there competing with Bruce Wayne, like, you know, a Justice League Unlimited level where, you know, Bruce is having or Batman's having a conversation with Lois, and like they're both kind of schooling each other in the moment on stuff that they know. Like she felt like that character compared to the other rest of it. So yeah, impressed with that as well.
I also like personally, I really enjoyed the Kryptonia aspect, like especially like, when like Jor-El's like, "How was your wedding? You have to get out of here." And I was like, "Whoa!" And then the reveal, the fact that like he's like watching all these memories and he figured out who the kids were. I actually kind of like the fact that like Jordan tries to stand up for him and it's like, yo, he's no match. And again, what you were saying, she stood up against the Kryptonian, being like, "Yo, this is between you and me," and he was like, yeah,
bitch,
it's
please.
too late for that. Yeah, kind of. If it was Samuel L. Jackson, he definitely would have said that.
This motherfucker's crazy.
But I'm glad that they called back in John Henry Irons, and like he's going to be back as well. And yeah, just like also like it was interesting. Like Morgan Edge's dad was essentially Palpatine from Star Wars. Like the Emperor.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was like, who is that guy? He looks so familiar.
Oh no, the actor. I'm not saying. I'm saying like the character.
Oh, okay.
Style.
I thought that was the actual, because I'm like, I feel like I've seen that guy before.
To be fair, I didn't look into it, but yeah, that's true. I've got to look into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I honestly, I could gush over this. Like even seeing him in like they actually kept him in that First Age comics, like super suit. Mm-hmm. They just kept it going, and I was like, yo, God bless you guys. Like, good for you.
There's a lot of good fan service in this.
Yeah.
Good,
I'm not a big fan.
I like that. Good fan service.
Yeah.
Good fan service.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the original like OG suit, but I appreciate the fan service for the people that do enjoy it. And I appreciate it in the time.
I kind of just appreciate it too. Like I like the fact that they stuck with it as opposed to like it's like a one shot and then afterwards.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, keep in mind like that costume came out in like what, like the 50s. Like at that time, like that was the dopest shit ever, right? Like we're used to a different type of style now. You know what I mean? So it's like,
oh yeah.
It's like if we saw someone wearing overalls today, we'd be like, I don't know about that. Like, you know, like.
I mean, you maybe pull that off. I do like the moment where he's like, "Nice suit, my mom made it." You're like, okay, yeah.
One last comment for me on this episode, I promise, is that the first scene is when he's in the Arctic and he like the fortress comes into being and like he goes and starts training, like that. The 1978 Superman had such a profound, like, lasting effect on Superman mythos that literally to this day people are still trying to do. Like Smallville did it, Man of Steel did it, and now Superman and Lois just did it. And I would say that arguably since Superman 1978, I would say this episode was probably the closest that I enjoyed. I will begrudgingly acknowledge that when it happened in Smallville, there was a certain level of, ooh, that's awesome. But again, I was young and stupid back then.
Umar trying to say he likes something in Smallville and hating the fact that he's saying it.
I feel very unclean.
Oof. It's too much. It's too much. Oh, man. Well, I'll wait for you to say how much you love Zack Snyder, too.
Wow. And a hush goes over the crowd.
Yeah. So I'm so glad you got to finally watch this episode, because I've been dying to say all this stuff for a while. It's pent up.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wasn't going to take that pent up anywhere, but you had to emphasize it. So,
yeah.
Please, in the comments, write your jokes as to how Umar's pent up and how he can alleviate that situation. Let's move on from there.
Moving on. So, our next topic is we are going to be discussing the Loki episode 4. It just dropped on Wednesday, and last week we had some strong opinions about how Loki's episode 3 was, and we were kind of really hoping that things would do better. I want to hear from what you guys think. So Tactix, I'll start with you this time. What did you think of episode 4 of Loki?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I almost didn't watch it just because of how shitty I found the 3rd episode. So I was like, do I really want to watch this, or should I just put on Buffy again and watch that instead? But I eventually was like, okay, you know what, I'll check it out, because 2 people were telling me, no, it's actually good, it's good. But then it was that same person actually liked the 3rd episode, so I was like, I can't trust you with anything in life. So I ended up watching it, and yeah, I enjoyed this episode a lot more. And I think it's because, the fact that Owen Wilson was in this episode made it really good. And then now he's like, well, I don't know, is he dead? Did they just kill him off? And it's like, I was kind of torn by that, because I'm like, yo, did they just get rid of the only reason why I'm watching this show right now? So
honestly, that scene, when that happened, I reacted the same way I did during Game of Thrones level deaths. I was like, what? No. And I was like,
yeah, and it was quick too. It was like Game of Thrones, where in Game of Thrones you just be like, I'm just gonna go to the store, and he's dead.
He had no chance. He had no chance. Not even I thought there was gonna be a showdown or something. Nothing.
Yeah.
Bro. They just stuck the thing in his chest and he was gone. I was like, excuse me? So, what just happened?
But so first off though, have you seen the after credit scene though?
Yeah. So I guess he's still technically alive, considering that the same shit happened to Loki, and I was like, oh, okay.
I fucking hope so.
Yeah, I mean, I loved the episode. The humor was really on point. What's her name again? Lady Sif. Sif, yeah. So I was glad that they brought her back, and that whole scene was hilarious. It's a little weird with the whole, and I know this is a topic for discussion for this podcast. It's a little weird, the dynamic between Loki and Loki. We'll get more into that a little bit later. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the episode. I like how it all played out. The action scene at the end, or the fight scene at the end, was really cool. And it left you with a good cliffhanger this time, as opposed to the last
bullshit one.
Yeah, so I'm a little confused about the end credit scene, though. I don't really get the reference at all. I mean, I'm more lost than I thought. Yeah, so
I'll get you into that.
Yeah, I can't really go into much depth in terms of what I enjoyed about it. I liked it. I had a better time with it. I was less distracted with other things, and I was more focused on watching it this time around. So, yeah, A- for me.
Okay, how about you, Darcy?
Definitely enjoy this episode. I gotta jump right into a piece on this though. Like when we were talking about both Loki and Morbius, Morbius, right? As
Yeah,
his character's name. Yep.
Mobius.
Mobius. I was slightly off on that. I knew that. So Mobius's character being killed off. How fast they were killed off. I'm like, there's got to be more to what happens when they get disintegrated, especially after we get to the room with the three keepers of time. Yeah, keepers of time, timekeepers, bro. Like, I mean, you know how bad I am with names. That's so close. Just let that go.
I count it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, timekeepers. That like and how they were like animatronic and whatnot. I'm like, there's gonna be layers underneath this, and then we obviously the after credit scene, and they're hilarious looking. That like they're not gonna like just kill these characters off like that quickly, and that this whole killing them off is a whole different thing. I've seen a really interesting theory out there about I can't remember if we talked about this in another episode about where the whole like TVA actually is in the universe. But yeah, I'm really like I enjoyed it. It definitely was a step up. The humor was better. You have to have Mobius in the show to make the show like completely work. But I even enjoyed more of the female Loki's character in this episode. Yeah, it was a better episode. It definitely took a turn for the good after the turn for the worst of the last episode.
Yep.
Yeah, like I will say that I really enjoyed this episode a lot. I literally was like, holy shit, or oh fuck, and then also like I love the after credit scene, but like Tactix, I'll get to that in a second. For me, I gotta say having Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston play off each other is, I think, my most favorite aspect of this show. They do a fantastic job, and also there's a lot of depth in their conversations. Like Mobius is the one who like hilariously is telling Loki, it's like, you fall for yourself, like you absolute like huge narcissist. And I was like, yeah. And then also Loki also comes to respect Mobius enough that he's the one telling the truth. He tells him the truth, but also he's the one who kind of puts his trust in him, and he's devastated when he thinks that Mobius got killed. And I was like, yeah, man, like I would be shell shocked too if like my one and only friend ever in life got killed. So yeah, like and also as much as everyone hates the character of Ravana, I think the actress is killing it right now. And also the fact that like C12 comes in and she's like, okay, I want to know what my memories are, and then she comes in and she's like turns off their collars, and then it like goes into this big action sequence. She did get taken out a lot faster than I thought she would have. It would have been cool if she stayed in for a little bit longer, but nonetheless, it was great to see the two Lokis. I will say I'm not a huge fan of having Loki fall in love with Loki. I would have preferred them to be like brother and sister, but like I guess whatever. I didn't really want a romantic angle in this series. I preferred a non-romantic situation. But nonetheless, like I really enjoy it, and yes, I love seeing Sif. And also, it was funny that they were taking something out of Norse mythology, where Loki cuts a piece of a Sif's hair, and as a result, Thor wants to beat him up, and he's like, "Oh, hey, I like instead, let me just get you a hammer." He goes to the dwarves, and they make Mjolnir. So it was kind of like a callback to mythology, which I kind of respected. Now, to finally answer your question about what the after credit scene was, I believe this is my own theory. Actually, okay, so I believe that whenever you get pruned, you get taken to like something of like a purgatory or like a garbage timeline where you just keep putting everything there. If that's the case, then this universe, based on what Owen Wilson said, is probably littered with other versions of Loki, probably predominantly. And yeah, so that's Kid Loki, and he is in the comics. I really liked his storyline. I don't know the alligator. That's new, and I know nothing about him. The one with the hammer, is also new for me, but I'm assuming he's from the storyline where Loki did a spell on Mjolnir and actually reversed it. So, like, you need the reverse to be worthy of Mjolnir. But the guy in the right, that's a comic book accurate cosplay, I guess you could say, and that's Richard E. Grant, who's been in a lot of stuff, and he is classic Loki. And he's the evil one that has been in the comics for since the dawn of Thor comics. And the Loki we have right now, like from Tom Hiddleston, he's a little bit more of a modern spin, which is more of an anti-hero than an actual villain. So I am interested to see where this takes us. But Kid Loki and classic Loki with some random alligator Loki and a Thor-looking Loki.
Hold up. I got a question for you here. So, Are you trying to tell me that the version of Thor where Mjolnir is only for those who are not worthy is a black man? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just looking at what I'm seeing here and what's being said to me, and I'm just saying they ain't on point if they doing that.
No. Like, badly said. I think it's a callback to that. Like, I think very well that. So this actually goes back to a question, a theory that I have. I think the reason why Lady Loki was to get pruned is because she chose to stay as a woman, but also she was becoming heroic. She had chosen not to be mischievous, but to be actually a hero. And if that's the case, I think then this guy actually is worthy of Mjolnir. And that's also why he got pruned.
I thought it was just Black Thor. That's what I thought. I was like, he's got a hammer, he's black. Black Thor.
That's true. We actually don't see any kind of horns on him. Like, we get horns on the alligator, but we don't have horns on him.
Yeah. It definitely looks like a Thor. But yeah, maybe there's horns like around his neck or something, like a necklace of some sort, and we'll see that, or horns on the Mjolnir or something.
Interesting. All right, so now that we're here, there's a question I want to ask you guys, based on this episode. So. So
you have to take a drink to ask this question. Holy.
Yeah.
Holy. Let's go.
So, given how Loki has technically fallen in love with himself, or the female version of himself, I would like to ask you guys if somehow the female version of you materializes, would you hit that?
I see the gears turning in Darcy's head right now.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
Yeah. 100%. Who's gonna know better than me what I want?
Oh man.
And first off, it's a we, not a me, because I ain't all that selfish, you know what I'm saying? Because we are the same person. And third, okay, someone's gonna be like, oh man, how you gonna do that? That's like incest. Bro, different universe. Whatever people gonna call that stuff. Yeah, you fucking
yourself anyway, right? So like, what's the difference really?
You know, people be like, well, I don't know. People have all kinds of weird stuff. But I'm like, you know what? Different universe. Doesn't count.
Yeah, man. I think I would, bro. If someone was like, yo, go fuck yourself, I'd be like, don't mind if I do. And then just, have my way with it, right? You know what I mean? So the weird thing is, like, I remember like a couple of years ago, we were at a work party, and one of my boss had like an app on his phone where it converts like photos from, like, if you're a male, then it converts the male into a female, and then vice versa, right? So he was doing that to everybody in like all the colleagues of THI, And then he did it to my photo and sent it to me, and I was like, damn, I don't look fire as a woman, yo. Like that's I don't know, man. I just might, I don't know, bro. I might just tap it a little bit, Get like
Just a tip.
I mean, just to feel it out a little bit. If I'm not with it, then I can like pull out and like be okay, and be like, I didn't commit to it fully. But like, if I enjoy it, then like, we lost Darcy. I might give it the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm with Darcy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who knows better than you what you like? I don't even have to like instruct her or anything. She just like, yeah, I'm right there in your head already. I know what you're thinking before you even think it. And I'm like, yeah, I fuck with you. Like literally, I fuck with you.
You know what? It's funny. It's either it's gonna be exactly perfect or exactly the complete opposite and awful.
Because there's no element of surprise, and it's like, oh, well, I already knew you were gonna do that. I don't even mean that. Still good. Oh, okay, go on, man.
Because you're both genetically flipped, right? Like off opposite each other. It's like either you're gonna be in sync, or you're gonna be on the opposite end of the wavelength, thinking of the opposite thing, and then be like, nah, I thought you would know. You're like, I thought you would know.
Yeah, that could be annoying, man. That could cancel it out completely.
Okay, so before I answer it, I will say that to the audience, feel free to write in the comments what your answer would be to this question. For me, I'm gonna say no, and for two reasons. One, because similarly, I've had someone do the same like app thing where like they show you as a female, or like basically the opposite sex of who you are, and not gonna lie, I look almost exactly like my sister. So,
ooh,
yeah.
Ooh, I was gonna ready to make a joke. He'd be like, "Oh, you don't think you hot? Well, maybe she won't think you hot." But if that's your answer, nope.
It is no. So I can't get it out of my head. So like the answer is no. Secondly, aside from that, I would be really weirded out if I was turned on by myself. I guess like from like I would probably worry that I'm narcissistic, and I'll be like, yo, what does that say about me? So I'll get in my own head, and like I would kind of react the way Owen Wilson did. It was like yeah, that would probably cause a Nexus event. It's breaking my head right now. And I was like,
come on, you wouldn't be a little curious? Like she just showed up in your bed, like
okay, like if she didn't look like my sister, I would be curious, but it would still freak me out.
But you do it though. You like.
No, I wouldn't.
Bit. A little pump. A little one. Just a bit.
No, I wouldn't. Actually,
you make her hold it.
No.
You put it on her chin just a little bit. Like.
Yo, what channel are we on right now? We need to relax. We're going too far. Oh man, I feel like I'm gonna get fired or something.
Yeah. I do have a follow-up question.
It's not sexual harassment if it's yourself, though, is it? It's like she wanted it. I know she did because I wanted it.
Going into another direction.
Yeah. Pull it back, baby. Pull it back.
Oh my.
Okay.
Yeah, we shouldn't do this live anymore. We should do it pre-recorded and
we took it a little too far. I'm sorry, audience, for anyone who's listening. We took it way too far.
Okay. So my follow-up question is, let's say it's like it's like the female version of you, but the personality isn't the same. So kind of like with Loki, Lady Loki, the personality is different. So in that situation, what do you think?
I ain't got a chance. She ain't gonna like me. That's all I'm saying. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, if it's different personality, I think I'd be more with it than if it was like someone who was exactly like me. Then it's like, because I know people can only handle me in small doses. Like I annoy myself when I'm by myself. So I mean, I think
that's a big fat lie.
No, it's true. It's true. I mean, maybe she thinks I'm cool. I don't know. We're talking theoretical right now, but I feel like I would want someone to have a little bit of a slight difference of personality if it's myself. You know what I'm saying? Right?
I think I would I think I would be more into it if she was different.
Different.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in general, that makes sense. Which
All right.
now it's just starting to become a different person.
Yeah. It's just that they look like a female version of you. That's all.
Yeah. So
and she's female, so you'd want her to have like more like feminine personality.
Feminine?
Yeah.
Yo,
You know what I'm
so let me throw something out here, going a different direction but a similar road. So Loki actually like survive this, right, and end up in the MCU. Like the female character ends up in there, and they have somewhat of a weird relationship because let's be honest, Loki's never gonna have like a straightforward relationship. Period. If they didn't bring this character in, he would be single in every movie going forward, right? Like it would never be a whisper of the idea of him dating somebody. Like, yeah, you might ask a question like he got asked and then you would say stuff would happen, but it's always off camera. So there's the only way you can bring it to camera. Can you just wait to see somebody else like from the MCU just being like they're talking to each other and there's a weird chemistry and then the person leaves and they're like, for real? Like, what? Are you dating yourself? Like I'm just like waiting to see like the Falcon ask that question. Just be like,
I can actually see Thor being like, that fits.
Yeah, Thor would get it because I mean he went to kill Earth. And he was like still trying to be his brother, so he would get it. But I would just look forward to someone like Falcon or like Spider-Man's like reaction to it. Like it's gonna be like extreme, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna be like, or the two of them in a room reacting to it. Oh, the comedy that would be. Like Spider-Man would say something, and then it'd be the first time like Anthony Mackie and the two characters like agree on something. Like, no, I am with you on this.
Like, Falcon and Winter Soldier are just like, yo, man, we both agree that's fucked up.
Yeah. And Tom Holland's just sitting there like, yeah. Oh man, it could be good.
Man. Yeah. So like, I really love this episode. I'm glad it gave us a very existential question to ponder. It definitely went differently than previous discussions about like religion and atheism and that sort of stuff. But I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. And God, please let Owen Wilson be alive.
Yeah, I actually hope the female Loki survives this and ends up in the MCU. I think that there's some really good stuff that happened here, and they're clearly setting up the main Loki to be a character that can come back and has gone through the ringer and was like the last one, but is different and may even be more reformed as far as Loki can be reformed. So I think there's going to be very interesting ways that they can have these people in the MCU and still remain as good characters.
Do you want him to be reformed? Like, are you guys like all on board?
Not fully.
Like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I would prefer him to be more villainous. Like, for example, what my theory is, I think the real person, like the real villain behind the TVA, I really hope it's not Kang, the Time Conqueror, but like only because he's supposed to be in Ant-Man, and I would kind of not want him to be in this, but that's just a personal preference. I think actually Loki, somehow, a version of Loki, is in charge of the TVA.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't particularly like going to text a specific question though. Like, I want him to be part villainous and part like kind of like an anti-hero, right?
Yes,
like where
I want him to stay an anti-hero.
Yeah, like I don't want him to be as villainous as he was in how we first got him, like in the Avengers.
I wouldn't mind if he sometimes goes there.
Yeah, I don't mind as long as it's like you can't anticipate, but he's in a lot of conversations with the good guys instead of always being opposing, because then he's a limited character in terms of screen time, because he can only show up, like he can't be having a conversation if he's the one that they're fighting, right?
Yeah.
So I like it where it's like they ask him for help and then he always turns the table on them. So like, well, we got 2/3 of what we wanted, but we got a new problem.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So moving on. Next topic is something that was brought up recently and also brought up in this very episode. So Tactix has been rewatching Buffy. Now we touched base with him when he got to I think he was like halfway through season 2, and he was having some problems with season 1.
Oh my gosh!
As frankly all, yeah, and fair enough that it was warranted. He got sold once he got into like the meat of season 2, but now he is, I think at last count he's on season 4. So we haven't talked to him since he was like halfway through season 2. So Tactix, from where you are now to where you were when we last talked to you, how has your progression been? Like, what did you think of the rest of season 2? How did you like season 3? What do you think of season 4?
So season 2 is by far my favorite season, just because I love that arc with Angel.
My man.
He's probably by so far, because I'm on season 5 right now. So far he is the best villain that they've had on the show. Like, and we've had the Master, we had Adam.
The mayor.
We had all the mayor, yeah. Like the mayor was cool. Like he was kind of interesting, but like Angel was just sadistic, and like I loved what he did, and like that whole dynamic of like, it was like the typical thing where it's like you sleep with the girl, he sleeps with the girl, and then like he just dips out, and you're just like, wow, that's a dick move. And on top of that, now you're evil, like crazy. So he was the most compelling and interesting character for me, or a villain for me. Season 4. So after season 2, it kind of like was like this for me. Like not a whole lot of interesting. Faith was cool. I found her storyline kind of interesting, like a dark Slayer kind of thing. And then season 4 was with like the Initiative.
When they went to college.
Yeah, like that season was kind of okay, but it was like it was losing me in a couple of episodes. And now with season 5, it was like the first couple of episodes they introduced Dawn, like Buffy's sister, like randomly, and I was like, what the fuck? Did I miss an episode? I was so lost because I didn't remember, because remember when this first came out, like I didn't watch them like consecutively, so I was like watching them here and there whenever it was on, and like this was before like streaming videos was even a thing, right? So you either had to like be home at a certain time to be able to watch it, or you'd miss the episode, right? So when Dawn showed up, I was like, who the fuck is this, and why, like, where did she come from? And then now they kind of explained it, and now like from what I remember, I'm like starting to kind of piece together what I remember watching from back in the day. So I'm like, yeah, it's interesting. But so far nothing has really topped that second season for me. Yeah. So
just a couple of questions of like personal favorite aspects. What do you think about Oz?
He was cool. I mean, I didn't have any issues with him. I like the stoic demeanor of him was kind of like it kind of added a funny element to it in a certain capacity. And then I liked the fact that he was like a werewolf. That whole thing was kind of cool. And then he kind of just disappeared. And then they made Willow like a lesbian, and now she's with Tara, which is an interesting dynamic that I'm really enjoying. Yeah, I mean, Oz didn't stick out all that much for me, other than the whole werewolf thing and the episode where he slept with the female werewolf. Darcy probably is like, what the fuck is going on right now? I don't remember any of this shit.
I kind of remember like hints at certain things, but I'm like, yeah, I did not watch this show back in the day. Like I watched clips, like single episodes out of context. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Like if you weren't a fan back in the day, then this show is not gonna hold up very well for you. Like if you were to get into it now, I personally I don't think Darcy would really fuck with this show if he watched it now.
No,
I think it's something that you.
I 50-50 fucked with this show back in the day, so like it's gonna be a lane 0 at this point.
yeah. I told you, right? Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I'm enjoying it for what it is right now. Like, but again, season 2 just had like like it was like episode after episode after episode that just kept me drawn in, and like now with this, it's kind of like some of these episodes feel like filler episodes that don't really lead anywhere exciting, and so it's kind of like a roller coaster ride for me right now. But it's enough to keep me like interested, but mainly because there's that nostalgia factor embedded in there for me, right? Because I was familiar with the show from back in the day when I used to watch it here and there.
So who is your favorite character?
My favorite character. That's interesting. Xander's gotten better. I wouldn't say he's
you saying that.
I wouldn't say he's my favorite, but he's not. He's
Okay.
less. He's less annoying than he was in the first, the first couple seasons. Like he was, and I guess you can attribute it to like him being a teenager and just like being fucking annoying and always about sex and like, oh yeah, I'm a horned out kind of thing. I just want to fuck Buffy and shit. And I was like that grew tired very quickly for me. But he's kind of simmered down, like I guess considering that he's got a girlfriend now. Giles is always interesting. I like his little quibs that he makes here and there. I would
Giles
say
is my favorite.
Yeah, I'd say it's between Giles and Buffy. I just like seeing her progression. Like she started off like as a typical teenager, kind of like aloof, and then she's really grown into her Slayer destiny type of thing, and she's becoming a little bit more mature. But I remember like in the later seasons, she got much more dull, I guess, because she was like making that transition to being like a leader, and I guess as a leader you kind of have to represent to your full capacity and not be so lenient and lackadaisical. You kind of have to play like a more of a commanding role, and so it kind of, in a sense, she comes off more as like Leonardo from like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in that sense.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like she,
I can see that.
like she to put it like this. She started off as like Michelangelo, and then there was times when she got into Raphael, and like now I feel like she's gonna start to make that transition into Leonardo.
Right.
Yeah. So
like, okay, so me personally, I season 2 is my absolute favorite, with season 3 being like a close second. After that, it kind of like is just meh for the rest of the series. I have to say I loved season 3 a lot. Like I love the Mayor as a villain. I love seeing Spike again in his like a brokenhearted state. I loved Faith. I found her. Well, I had the hugest crush on Faith. I still probably do. Like my God, that woman is so awesome. But yeah, like I had a
crush on her since True Lies, bro. True Lies.
Oh shit, she was the daughter. Yeah, I forgot about that.
She was the daughter.
Damn.
Granted, we were close in age, so it's not on some weird shit.
We're still,
like,
we're still close in age. We're like, it's kosher.
You do know that's how age works, right? You're like, you're still close in age. I'm like, I love how people be like, you say stupid stuff like, you know, it's like, well, I'm older than you. Well, wait till I get older. It's like, I'll still be older than you. like,
no, but like I love the Mayor. I love her. I love their dynamic together. I loved when she came back and like totally messed up Buffy's life.
Oh, with the switch?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, so like, I'm just really glad that I didn't see you enjoying Angel as a villain as much as you did. I like that. Respect.
Just what they did with him though, because it was like I'm not a woman, so I can't relate to that dynamic in terms of like, you know, sleeping with someone and then having them just like get up and leave and like protect. Like they come off as like this wholesome character, and then you give them the cheeks, and then they just up and leave, and then they switch up on you. So it's like, and I have like homegirls who have had that happen, and like me having those conversations with them, and like how devastated they are. And then you sprinkle in the fact that he now, because of that, he turns evil, and his sole purpose is to like fuck with Buffy, like just make her life a living hell before he ultimately kills her. And so it was just like a double whammy that made his character and him as a villain much more interesting.
far better than the Martian Manhunter version he was in first season, huh?
Oh yeah, fuck man, that was fucking terrible, yo. Yeah, but no, yeah, he was a good villain, very very good villain. I enjoyed him.
Nice. I got a random question about the show because I haven't watched it in forever. Giles, is he basically like a Alfred?
No,
So, you don't think so?
not really, because he trains her,
I guess he does
and
more. Yeah.
and also he's the guy that they always go to for answers.
So a bit of Alfred and Ra's al Ghul.
So he's
No.
I guess would he be more like old man Bruce Wayne from Batman Beyond?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always remembered him feeling somewhat like Alfred, but I think that maybe it'd just be the accent or something.
He's a mixture. He's a mixture between old man Bruce Wayne and like Professor Xavier.
Okay. Yeah. I can see that comparison. For sure. He's definitely useful. And he plays like a huge father figure to Buffy, which is good.
Yeah, and I like they actually brought that up in the episode where he's actually the one drugging her. So that for her.
That episode was fucked up, man. Yo, I was like, damn.
Yeah, and like honestly, that argument that they had, because so basically, Darcy, just to let you know, for Slayers, his organization, the Watchers, for their 18th birthday, Slayers are put through a test. They're drugged, and that they are so that they can't use their powers, and they're left in a secluded area with a vampire, and they have to be able to kill the vampire without their powers in order to prove that they're capable Slayers. That's if they survive to their 18th year. So Giles has to, Giles has to do that, and he is also being evaluated too, because if he's shown to have more loyalty to her than to the council, they fire him, and that's what they did.
Gotcha. Yeah, I feel like I remember that somewhat. I feel like I've seen that episode.
Yeah, because he eventually revealed to her what was going on because she was so devastated by it and like scared and helpless, and he had already grown rather attached to her and couldn't bear to see her like that. So he eventually revealed what was going on, and like then that got him in trouble with the council, and then they fired him.
And then Wesley came.
Yeah. Wait, whatever happened to him? He kind of.
He went to Angel.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
by the way, are we talking about Wesley Snipes? You know. and then he killed all the vampires and the show was over.
Yo, actually, it would be awesome to see Blade and Buffy together.
Shit, man, I think that'd be a good fight, but I don't know if Buffy would stand a chance.
I don't know actually. Well, no, actually, Buffy might lose because if it was just a hand-to-hand or weapon-to-weapon combat, but like Blade has a lot of guns.
Yeah. I mean, but she's taking out some pretty heavy demons. So I mean,
she's stronger than him. She would be stronger than him.
Than Blade?
Yeah. Because he's as strong as a vampire. He's as strong as a vampire. Slayers are inherently stronger than vampires.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
So they're OP.
Well, yeah, they need to be. Otherwise,
they'd be a dying breed. Yes, I know.
Yeah, well, they are.
Yeah, but they'd be a more dying breed because what would be the point?
So yeah, no man, I'm glad you got to season 5. You killing it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to catch up on the show by our 500th episode.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, remind me at 400.
Remind you at 400.
Exactly. In the comments, you make sure I don't forget.
Right, so yeah, I look forward to touching base with you soon. Again, to hopefully see it. Actually, let us know when you're finished the series. That way we can do touch base that way.
Is it worth it to go and watch Angel?
Yes.
Oh, I thought he was going to say a straight no.
No, actually, so right around the part that you are at right now, Tactix, I actually started losing interest in Buffy and was gaining interest in Angel.
Interesting. Okay. Because I know they did a crossover a couple of times, and because like in some of the
Yeah,
Buffy
like,
episodes, it didn't make sense. She was gone, and then Angel showed up, and I was like, wait, what's happening right now?
yeah, like, and also like that's like when Riley got his ass kicked by Angel. They're talking about something that
Yeah.
happened when she was at his in LA. So like, no, Angel, like I really enjoyed their seasons.
Okay.
I would highly recommend if you want to check it out.
True. Okay, cool.
All right.
I got nothing to add here. I am not watching the show. I haven't watched the show. I'm just sitting here letting you all talk.
So what is that? Is that how we're ending this?
I think we're good.
That's it? Okay. All right. Well, all right. This has been another edition of the Geeky Bros podcast. I'm your boy Tactix.
Yo, it's just Darcy here.
And this is Big Geek Umar. Please like and subscribe and live long and prosper, y'all. You can't see my hand.
So for real, you wouldn't do yourself, bro?
No.